Tuesday was our weekly media session with Arizona's team when we spoke with players and coaches about what they're expecting heading into Saturday's matchup with UCLA. The Bruins will head to Tucson this weekend coming off a loss to ASU, but the Wildcats know they will face several challenges on both sides of the ball Saturday night.
First off, if you're involved in the pass rush, don't be behind the quarterback. That'll be the first, that's suicide, okay? Secondly, based on your pass coverage responsibility, there'll be some, low hole type players and so forth. They've got to do a good job tackling them. That'll be the challenge for the entire defense is tackling the quarterback. I mean, that's when you play a dual threat guy, that's paramount when you're thinking.
Would it be fair to say that this offense you're about to face has the most weapons or the most kind of different things that they can do to hurt you of all the ones you've faced so far this season?
We faced a couple of pretty good You're welcome, sir. We've played some pretty good offensive football teams. So, I certainly love their talent. I think they got good players. And this number 2 I like a lot. He plays slot. He returns kicks.
Is that Phillips?
Yeah, Kyle Phillips. I like him a lot. I'm big with numbers. So.
What about Dulcich, who I think is
85?
Yeah,
he's a good player too. Those two guys are, you can't let them get rocking because, obviously, quarterback loves those two guys.
When you think of UCLA football, what comes to mind?
We got to play against those guys for a long time back at USC, so there's a little bit of carryover to those same feelings. But they're a really good team. They're a lot different than UCLA teams in the past. They're really dedicated to run the ball, playing really good defense. So it's a good recipe that they got going.
How much of a resource is Jimmy Doherty this week, given that he was on their staff?
He's great. Personnel-wise, he knows a lot of those guys, except for the transfer guys that they've had. But he knows that program pretty well.
So to what extent can you tap into that? How much can you really take advantage of that?
You still have to. How much? There's a couple little insights you know how certain guys play, the style that they play at. But it really all comes down to what scheme they're implementing, what are they doing week-to-week basis, and what we expect from them. So that it's a great resource, but we still have to watch the film.
But before the ASU game, no one had really run very well against UCLA. ASU was able to do that. I'm sure you watched that game.
Absolutely.
What were the Sun Devils able to do that maybe some others weren't?
They played with really good tempo. They played. They got them off rhythm a little bit with some things they did up front. A couple new schemes I think they'd implemented that they hadn't done much before. So there's some opportunities, but usually it's really tough defense. And the school worked a good job of slowing down.
Obviously we know the quarterback scramble. He has a running ability. So just staying in front, keeping them contained, not letting them scramble.
When you think of Chip Kelly and you think of the offense that he brings to the table, how much are you kind of licking your chops, so to say, just to get at an offense like that and to be on the field against them?
I'm definitely licking my chops for that. Like I answered the other question, you never know when the opportunity is going to come. It definitely will come. It's just about being prepared for it. And this week, that's really what I'm focusing on, just being prepared for the opportunity, being ready for it when it comes.
Just their blitzes, but we have a game plan to pick up their blitzes, and with our running backs and tight ends and O-line, talking about it all week and being able to identify them when they're coming.
Arguably, no player gained more value during the bye week than quarterback Jordan McCloud, who was able to have an extra week of practice coming off his first start with the Wildcats. He's now ready to take the team into the rest of the season.
Our mindset right now, we got an 8-game season. We want to go 8-0, 1-0 every week. So the streak's something that, obviously we didn't start the year off before, but this is a new staff and a whole bunch of transfers and stuff like that. So that's not something that a lot of us think about.
What was the most beneficial part of the bye week for you?
Just to refresh and get more time with the first group, get my timing down with the receivers, communication with the O-line and running backs and stuff like that.
And in that practice time, what are some of the improvements you've made just with communication with the receivers? What's kind of
Just rhythm with the offense, moving the ball up and down the field, understanding why coaches call us certain things when we go situational in practice and things like that. If I had to work on something last week, it was just taking care of the football against our own defense, because we did a lot of good on good last week since it was just the bye week. And it was just make sure I take care of the ball and do what's best for the team.
What do you think is the biggest lesson that you took out of that game against Oregon?
Obviously the mistakes, and knowing that it's just things like it's 3 of them that I should have just threw the ball away. Being able to live for the next down, that's okay. Obviously you don't want to, but sometimes it's okay if you get sacked instead of trying to play hero ball. It's okay to throw the ball away instead of trying to make the big play all the time.
So were there checkdowns available on some of those plays too? And did Coach Fish say after the fact? That,
yeah, we talked about it after. We watched it together, and he told me, obviously we got to move on to the next game, but and the checkdowns there, the throwaways are there. Just take what the defense give you. Don't try to force anything. It was just when I got a little frustrated myself, he was just like, I'm riding with you, and I trust you. Just keep playing your game that I know you can play and stuff like that. And that helped me a lot, build my confidence and stuff like that.
What does it do? Yeah, what does it do for your psyche when your coach is?
It helps. Obviously, that would be any quarterback. It helps you not want to try to play so perfect. Just try to. I can't make this mistake. I can't make this mistake, because at the end of the day, like I said, it happens. But you obviously want to play mistake free as much as you can to give your team a chance to win. So when he told me that, it's going to allow me to just play my game and play within the system. Those 2 games that I sat on the sideline and listen to how coach call games, and being able to experience that from the sideline, understanding the offense more and things like that, to be able to know that it's not as hard as obviously what people may think. It's just he's calling the same things that obviously he calls in practice. So the gap was really just that was the gap, I believe, the understanding of the offense. It's a pro style offense, so you have to understand where your protection's coming from, your checkdowns and things like that. So once I understood all that, I believe I was ready to go.
Arizona could have good fortune on its side this weekend. The last time the Wildcats won a home game was just over 2 years ago against UCLA. Outside of Arizona Stadium, I'm Averie Klonowski for GOAZCATS.com.